Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting. Envisioned Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. An affiliate of Direct Impact Broadcasting and Creative Broadcasting, presenting the Empower Hour with Jaresha, a show that shares the stories behind the journeys of leaders, influencers, and motivators. The Empower Hour with Jaresha begins now.
Welcome to Empower Hour with Jaresha. I am your host, Jaresha Moore. A little bit about myself. I am a best-selling author with over 18 years of combined experience in education, finance, healthcare, business management, and development, owner and founder of Empower on Purpose, LLC, where we provide personal professional coaching and consulting services, certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the John Maxwell team, and owner of Envisioned Broadcasting radio station. Before I introduce my guest this evening, I would like to announce two upcoming workshops sponsored by Empower on Purpose. One is a networking virtual, that is, vision board workshop that is being offered every first Sunday of the month. The next one that's actually happening is July 7th. This is a goal-setting vision board workshop and online networking event. We are about 6 months into 2019, and it's not too late to level up and get focused. During the workshop, you will learn a proven framework to help you tap into your true desires and dreams, use those desires to set intentional goals, and then outline an achievable plan. You will break all traditional goal-setting philosophies during this intro workshop. You will also get several worksheets that will help you in completing your vision board effortlessly. Register today to enjoy an atmosphere with great vibrations, laughter, fun, while you write your vision board with purpose and power. The other workshop is a planner meetup event happening at the Dayton Metro Library on Sunday, July 14th at 2 p.m. This is a free event for all the planner babes in the Dayton, Cincinnati, and Columbus, Ohio area who love to plan, organize, and would love to come together with other planner babes to share planner tools and ideas. To register or to find out more details, please visit www.empoweronpurpose.com. So this week's empowerment quote is, "We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated," by Maya Angelou. I love this quote by Maya Angelou because in life we will always have adversity, troubles, and challenges, but it's all about how we respond to it. There's another quote that says, "Life is 10% of what happens to us and 90% of how we react to it." This is so true. It's so easy to have a defeated attitude when things don't happen the way we want it to in our lives. It's so easy to give up and throw in the towel, but why take the easy way out? Why not look at life as an opportunity for you to create your own happiness and success? Why not start each day with a winning attitude? In fact, Maya Angelou goes on to say, it may be necessary to encounter the defeat so you can know who you are and what you can rise from and how you can still come out of it. So without further delay, today my special guest is LaKeisha Hankins. A little bit about LaKeisha. LaKeisha Hankins, known as the Passion Strategist, is a woman of God, wife and mother of 4 beautiful girls. She is an author, entrepreneur, transformational speaker, certified coach, and fatherless daughter advocate. She started her entrepreneur journey 8 years ago. As a coach, LaKeisha is dedicated to equipping women with the tools to create a life and business that awakens their soul by helping them to heal their past, overcome their limiting beliefs, and reprogram their mind. She has implemented these same strategies in her life to overcome teenage pregnancy and being a fatherless daughter. When she started her entrepreneur journey 8 years ago, she had some success but struggled, and it wasn't until she realized the impact of her limiting beliefs, life events, and corporate job were having on her success. She decided to confront and make peace with her past. She is the creator of the results-based Unleash and Monetize, where she offers a solution-focused approach to turning your passion into profit. LaKeisha wants you all to know that we all have a past, but our past doesn't define our future. Welcome, LaKeisha. How are you this evening?
I am great. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be able to share and connect with you this evening.
Absolutely. I am excited too. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm super excited for you to be able to share your journey with all the listeners. You're truly amazing and have such an amazing story to share. So I love how you're not only a business and life coach, but also a fatherless daughter advocate. Can you tell us more about what that entails?
Yes. So just to give you kind of like a little background on it, for the most part, being an entrepreneur, I was feeling stuck in my business, and one of my, coaches, mentors was having an event, and, we go to these events looking for the next strategy to help you, experience a breakthrough in your business. And so I got there, and it was a total like game changer. It wasn't about business strategies. It was really about healing your fatherless wounds and healing what's, holding you back. And, and I never identified myself as a fatherless, and, with my father not being there, because I was raised by my mom and my stepfather, so he was always in the home, since from the age that I was 3. So, and, I've learned to be just, content with that and stuff like that. But then I realized, going to this event, how much, not knowing my biological father and having him in my life was actually affecting how I was showing up in business, how I was showing up in, life, and, being a teen girl, all these different things. So, I went through the whole program myself, and then as I'm going through the program, and as being a coach and working with other women, I started to see some of those same patterns in their lives. So, so I went in and got my certification in it, just to really help women to get through that whole, healing their daddy wounds and understanding the whole power of love and, money, because how you do love is how you do money, like how,
Absolutely.
it just all affects each other. So, and then also, some, when I hear fatherless, I think about their father not being there, but it also means, having a father that's emotionally unavailable. He may have been in the home, but was emotionally not there. And, like I said, it affects your relationships, business, and, because you have this invisible pain that you've never dealt with. So that's kind of like how, I began my journey about 4 years ago in regards to the work of working with fatherless daughters.
So do you offer like specific programs or workshops, or is it just incorporated in your business?
So I offer definitely specific workshops. We have workshops that focus on helping them to identify, the daddy wound or what that core issue is, and then, releasing any breakthroughs and barriers that keep them stuck. So there's like 4 different, workshops that we offer, and then, also offer workshops, discussing, the fatherless daughter archetypes and, what your daddy lifestyle is. And then we also have workshops geared towards fathers, for those, wanting to know how to better communicate and be, there for their daughters.
Absolutely. And it truly is so important. And, you think about the impact that an absent, unattached or even unavailable father, has on his adult daughter's life is very critical. So, yes, absolutely. I think that is awesome that you do offer programs and workshops to help, females out there that have experienced that or that are experiencing that as well. So you have a program also that's called Unleash and Monetize. By the way, I want to say I love that name. Could you tell us more about that program?
Yes, it's actually my signature coaching program, where it's a 5-step program, more so designed to help women capitalize on their passion or, tap into their natural gifts and be able to leverage that expertise and, make more money. And it's all about having systems and structure in place, because a lot of times as women we wear many hats, but having a structure is like the foundation to being able to grow your program, and really just going through that whole blueprint, that framework of identifying what you want to be known for, your whole signature expertise, identifying who you want to work with, because, when you try to, I'm sure as a coach and an entrepreneur, that when you try to work with everyone, you end up serving no one. So really just getting crystal clear on who it is that you're called to serve and creating a program that they can be able to leverage and create multiple streams of income from.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome. I mean, you know, when you say that we truly all have a passion in life. So, you know, why not work your passion and, you know, make a profit while working that passion? And I think the fact that you mentioned, you know, having a system in place, I think that is so important. You know, having some kind of system in place for your business. You know, I just think about it as far as my own business. You know, if I didn't have some kind of system in place with that structure, you know, for how my business is going to run and all of that, it would truly not even be, you know, what it is today. So, you know, I definitely think that is awesome. So I would love to dive deeper into, you know, some of your past experiences. And you did kind of talk about your journey of being a coach, but could you share how being a coach has truly impacted your life?
So it's definitely impacted my life. And for me, it started with going to different events. And, you know, I was, you know, in my career, but I knew there was something more that I wanted. So it started with this whole journey of personal development and, you know, purchasing books kind of like by Valerie Burton, and listening to Jim Rohn. And that kind of like led me on my journey. And at that time, I was involved in the industry of network marketing, but I realized that there was something more that I wanted, you know, to do. And from that aspect, I realized that I loved the whole coaching and empowering, you know, women to go after their goals and their dreams. That's what I loved about, you know, what it was that I was doing at that time, and decided that I wanted to take it to another level. So, you know, got my whole certification and everything, and to, you know, being a certified coach. So I actually started off as a life coach, a certified life coach. But of course, as I was building my business, I started attracting more and more clients that were more so interested on how to start a business. So I always, you know, tell people, you know, sometimes your niche ends up finding you, you know. So that's kind of like, you know, what kind of like led me on my journey to becoming a coach. And it has impacted my life because I think we should always strive to be, you know, to be more. And then being a mother, I have 4 girls of myself. So I'm the first role model, the first, you know, person that they look up, that I want them to be, you know, be able to look up to and be able to set, you know, a healthy, you know, regardless of what my past looks like, that your past doesn't define you. And I always say, you know, what better way to tell your children to go after their goals and their dreams by showing them. So it's impacted my life by being an example, not just for them, but also for, you know, for other women and also for other girls. You know, me growing up, I was the oldest sister, and I always wanted a big sister, you know, that someone else that I could be able to look up to. And so I realized for some, they didn't have that. So being able to be, you know, that catalyst for someone else in their life is really, you know, how it's, you know, really just impacted me, that it's given me a, you know, a whole nother sense of purpose.
Absolutely. Yes, I love that. You know, we truly get the opportunity to inspire, influence, and support others through their growth journey. But as you mentioned, it helps enhance our own internal capacity as well. You know, I'm so thankful of how, you know, even, you know, being a coach has enriched my life and how I'm able to see things, you know, clearly and gain clarity with the abundance in my life and, you know, truly find that clarity in my life to recognize my purpose is actually helping others. So then what would you say is your ideal client? Like, what does your ideal client really look like?
So, you know, technically I always say, you know, my ideal client is the woman that I was 3 to 5 years ago. Right. And at that point in my life, I was very overwhelmed. I was kind of like all over the place. I was excited about, you know, starting my own business, you know, being able to help other women. But I was doing a lot of shooting from the hip and didn't have, you know, systems and stuff in place. So I'm really big on, you know, systems because I ended up burning myself out and, you know, quickly being out of business. And that's kind of like how the whole fatherless daughter aspect kind of like played into that. Because I was so used to having to do everything on my own or not wanting to depend on anyone. And that kind of like was showing up in my business. You know, sometimes we try to be strong and wear many hats and not, you know, trust people with our, you know, business or trust people with decisions and stuff like that. So, you know, that's definitely, you know, one of the ways that, you know, what my ideal client looks like. You know, she's overwhelmed. She's all over the place. And just really just trying to keep it all together. On the outside, she looks like she has it together, but the inside, she's like barely like holding on, like throwing spaghetti at the wall and all these different things. And, to the point where she's sick and tired of being sick and tired. But, having to put, I guess, almost like your ego aside and saying, hey, I can't do this alone, that I need help, and being able to trust someone with your goals and with your vision.
Absolutely. And, I have to say that I think it's so hard when you're, an entrepreneur, whether you're just starting out, to really, get that trust, to have that trust, to hand over, some aspects or some parts of your business, not necessarily to someone else, but to reach out and say, I need help. I think that is, extremely important. And I think that, one of the best things that, as entrepreneurs, business owners can do is really to be able to, get to a point where they can delegate and have that support for their business. So I love how you empower women to dive deep into their inner self and be their best. Could you share a little bit more on how you do that and what tactics you truly use to empower women?
Yeah, so definitely, like I said, when they come, for coaching, a lot of time it's about business strategy, but it's always, they think that they need the next business strategy, and I always say, hey, I can give you the six-figure blueprint, but if you don't believe that you can, hit that six figures, then it's not going to happen. So it really requires doing a lot of, the inner work, doing the stuff that people want to skip over. And, they want to go right to the strategy. So we really take, time to really identify, what's holding them back and really get to the root of that, because 9 times out of 10, it's really not what they think that it is. It's not that they don't have enough time and all these different things. And it's just like, how is, fear showing up in their life, or, how's their past, showing up in their lives as far as them maybe not trusting themselves or being afraid of failure or rejection and all those different things. So I really am big on journaling and spending time with yourself. Okay, and spending time, in the Word, whatever your personal development routine is. I always say you have to work more on yourself than you do on your business, and that's one of the things that helped me experience, like, my first breakthrough within my business. It wasn't the blueprint, it was definitely working more on myself, and then, who I was surrounding myself around with, definitely made a lot of, a big part of the difference. So I think that's like one of the biggest tactics is really just having clarity and, figuring out, and I always, say, clarity comes from taking action if you're not for sure what it is that you want to do, but really putting a routine or, together for yourself where you can spend time and, really just get to know yourself and know what it is that you want, because I think a lot of times we spend, time building other people's, dreams and, and goals, and just really just asking yourself. That was one of the most important questions that my mentor asked me was, what do you want? And I really had to sit there and just, sit there with that for a while, because I didn't know what I wanted, because I did what I thought I needed to do, or what I, what came sometimes as easy, to be able to, put food on the table, or, to pay the bills, or, what, trying to make up for my past. I was also, a teen mother. So I was always striving, I think, for the accolades, the titles, got this degree and then on to the next one, but really just getting to the core of that. And I think that's really what helps people. And then when you, for me, it was just having to tell myself that I'm enough. And so, I think that resonates with a lot of women in general.
Right. Because, as you mentioned, when you think about empowerment and women empowerment, it's truly to help encourage women to feel strong by telling them they can do everything they want to do. They just have to believe in their greatness and, as I like to say, and let it shine. So, I think that's amazing. And so you are also a transformational speaker. What types of events do you speak at, and what types of topics do you, typically speak about?
So generally, like, workshops, retreats, those type of events. A couple I've done, some at church for the, women's ministry, or et cetera. So usually it's around, birthing your dreams, profiting from your passion, and depending on the topic, because with the Father's Daughter Advocate, I usually come when I'm dealing with women, it's more so on healing your way to success. And not necessarily that it always has to be fatherlessness, but regardless of your past, how that kind of like shows up in your life and affects your success. So those are generally the areas that I focus on, and kind of like do my, my signature, I guess, talks on.
Absolutely. And a couple of things that you mentioned that I just really want to bring out is the healing your way to success. I absolutely love that because I think there is such a great need for these talks in the community. So I think that's absolutely amazing. And
absolutely. When you said that, I'm like, especially in our communities, we were always taught, whatever happens at home stays at home. And so I think, now I think we're kind of like in an era where more people are standing up and speaking and, sharing their truth. And when I share my voice, I share my truth, I give other women, also the power or the permission to share their truth. So it's definitely needed.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I even think about, as far as not just the community, but even in the churches, that, often in the churches, it's, people are like hush-hush about certain things and not truly allowed to, bring forth that voice to be able to heal their way to success. So, I definitely think the more that, we do have, speakers, transformational speakers like yourself, really talking about these discussions and, having those conversations, that it will open that door for people to be okay with, actually talking about those things. And, like you said, giving them, really permission because they hear someone else's story or journey, they feel comfortable with sharing their own. Absolutely. So you started your entrepreneur journey 8 years ago. What is one thing that you wish you had have known when you started out?
Oh, my gosh. So I wish I would have known. I would say to fail quickly is one of the things I would say. So I got so caught up in the, trying to have everything together. And like I said, when I first started, coaching, I ended up going a whole nother different direction. And just really just knowing that, hey, that's okay. That as you evolve, that your business is going to evolve and stuff too. So, really just, putting yourself out there and just like going for it is one of the things that I wish I would have just, someone just pushed me off of the, the cliff and say, hey, just go for it. I did a lot of talking about it, in my head and writing it down on paper and saying what I wanted to do. But it took, until I hired kind of like a coach before I started taking action. But other than that, I just sat on the ideas. So, so one of my mottos is taking imperfect action. And I had to remind myself that so many times because, like I said, being, the fatherlessness, it shows up in there and, reminding yourself that you're enough. So, imperfect action and, giving myself deadlines, and I would write on my mirror that I'm enough and all these different things. So I would definitely say that was one of the key takeaways for me was taking imperfect action. You don't have to have it all together, but you got to, just get going. And, you'll figure it out along the way.
Yes, absolutely. I know and I'm not sure who wrote the quote, but there's a saying that says, you jump and build your wings on the way down. And I definitely think that just, it speaks volumes for, when we start off in business and, really, like you said, just wanting to, have everything in place before you even make moves. And oftentimes you just have to make the move and, like you said, fail quickly. You're going to have failures, but you learn through it. I think about for myself, it's been 4 years for me. And I'll tell you, there's not a day that goes by that I'm not learning more about this journey, what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work. So it's definitely, a journey that we're forever on. So I love how you utilize your life experiences, to truly help and mentor others. Could you talk a little bit more as far as, how you truly, mentor, others that you've come in contact with?
Yeah, so I've kind of like used kind of like my past experiences. I always tell people, that we don't make mistakes or if you, call them mistakes, mishaps or whatever you might call them, but it's room for a great learning opportunity, right? I've learned how to use my experiences and, things that I have gone through, to fail myself forward, to help other people save time, money and stress. And, realizing, like I said, that you don't have to do it alone. And, whatever has happened in the past is the past, and it doesn't define you. And you can actually, use that, leverage it, for your future, and, propel yourself forward with it. So that's kind of like I've used, I guess I hate to say mistakes. Use my experiences of the past, from being a teen mother, or, picking the wrong career because I wanted to play it safe in the beginning, and all these different things, and just afraid of starting over. All those different things, like, it's just never too late, that you can start over, regardless of your age, your gender, or your experience, that it doesn't define your future, So if there's something that you want to do, don't let your past or what you think that you don't have, stop you from moving forward. And stuff happen, the resources and all those different things amongst you, and, take action, just move forward. So that's what I, would say. I've used my past, whatever I've done in the past, as far as my experiences, as far as like selling forward, and be able to help other, women save money, time and that stress. They don't have to go through it.
Absolutely. So as a coach and mentor, we both know how important it is to mentor others. Could you share how having your own mentor and coach has truly, impacted your life? Could you give a little bit more as far as how it's impacted your life and your business?
So I would definitely say having the key right people in your business is definitely key, and that helped, me when I wanted to give up or throw in the towel, or when I, or when I got stuck and stuff, when, and then realizing, that, hey, the success is not overnight, because a lot of times you're looking at someone else's, highlight reel of their life, but you don't know that it took them, 10 years to get this overnight success. You just saw, hey, they just popped up on the scenes, but they've been working on this for years. So really having a mentor, someone else who's kind of like already walked the walk, and, kind of like on the same path that I've been on, has definitely made so much of the difference. And as far as like their connections, and just their resources, of the strategies of work, and then, taking those strategies and more so, using the ones that are in line with who I am, is what I say has definitely been the difference. So, I'll always have a coach and our mentor, and I believe that, you should have several, definitely, spiritual, business, a personal trainer. I need to get back to the personal trainer. I had a personal trainer for a minute. So I think, definitely, it's that whole accountability, and just having someone else, to be able to bounce ideas off of, or when you get stuck, to help you get to the next level, or either they're seeing things in your business are a blind spot that you didn't see because you're so close to it, so close, knee deep in it, and that you don't see it. And that definitely has been the one of the keys, is to, I guess, having someone else help me take the overwhelm out of it, and, because I'll sit here and overthink things, and that definitely has helped me.
Absolutely. I can say for myself, I didn't realize how important it was to actually have, my own business coach until I, started kicking around the idea of, I wanted to, start my own business. And then, I was like, okay, I need to reach out to someone that, as you mentioned, that's, have already started their business, to learn from them and, get some advice, and to kind of throw around those ideas. And a lot of times, it's good to connect with mentors and coaches, because they have those resources that, you may not, have, or, have access to sometimes. So I think that is, absolutely awesome. So as a business owner, of course, there are wins and successes, and there's also obstacles, challenges, and disappointments. Can you share one of the challenges you may have faced, with your own business, and how you overcame it?
I would say for me was being open to too many opportunities. Everything is not an opportunity. And so, it definitely was one of those things that kind of like had me all over the place in my business and just not really just clear on my, my messaging and all these different things in the beginning. And the way I overcame that is really just getting clear on, who it was that I'm called to serve and what my vision is for my life and my business. So now when opportunities come my way, if it doesn't align with where I want to be in my business, a year, or 3 years or so from now, I'm able to say no and, not so bad for saying no, because sometimes, especially as women in the, in the beginning, I wanted to say yes to everyone because we want to help and stuff, things of that sort. But, now I'm like, I'm great with saying no, especially if it doesn't line up with who I am and, where I see my business going from 3 to 5 years from now. So I would definitely say that was one of the challenges was, just being open to too many opportunities. And next thing you know it, I'd be, adding this product or adding this service and doing this and doing that. And I just felt like it was constant overwhelm. And, the money was all over the place as well, too. So now I'm like, I can focus and, I'm excited about, where I'm going and just trusting the vision. So when stuff comes my way, I know when to say yes or when to say no.
Absolutely. That's good. I love the fact that, you mentioned that clarity, having that clarity with, different opportunities, knowing where you're at in your business and where you're wanting, to go and what is it that you're wanting to actually offer. And so when those different opportunities come, yes, you need to be able to say, okay, this is going to align or this is not going to align with my business. And, I too, from the beginning was like, oh, yes, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to offer this. I'm going to offer that. And then you literally have to take a step back and say, wait, I can't do all this. So, I definitely think that's a really important, aspect. So today's empowerment quote the empowerment quote for today was, we may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated, by Maya Angelou. Could you share with the listeners what this quote truly means to you and maybe how you may have applied this to your own life?
So when I hear that, I think about, all the challenges in life. You're going to experience challenges, right? If you keep living, you're going to experience them. Things are not going to work out as always as planned, but if you fail, just get up and try it again. So that's kind of like what I hear when I embody or listen to that in life or just in business and just whatever. If something doesn't work the first time, doesn't mean that you kind of like throw in the towel. Just that you're not defeated by it, but you just try it again.
Absolutely.
What I hear from that.
Absolutely. So then, who has been the biggest influence on your life, and what lessons did that person teach you?
So, of course, there's like so many influences, right? So when I think about that, I think about, how we listen to like Jim Rohn and Les Brown, but I would say most importantly, kind of like has been my mentor and coach for the last almost 8 years now is Angela Carr-Patterson, who's kind of like being that catalyst in my life. Even when I've gotten off track in my business, like I always said, I wanted like that big sister. So she was like, even sometimes, our parents don't know how to, I guess, nourish our dreams or push us, kind of thing. So she's always been that one. Like I said, when I was open to opportunities and all over the place, even if I wasn't working with her, she would pick up that phone and she would call me and be like, what are you doing? Kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So I sometimes I would see a call and I wouldn't even answer. I'd be like, okay, no, I'm in trouble. I'm not going to answer. But she was always that one that could see in like, okay, I can see your greatness if you just stay focused and, put your blinders on and, things of that sort. She has been that one who has definitely, encouraged me to, stay focused in my business, write that book, all those different things. Like if it wasn't for her, I would have been sitting on the book idea for years. And it was, her, pushing me or her constantly, the reminders or, just her showing up. Me seeing her building, her business is, definitely, I would definitely say she has been the one that has had, like, the most influence, in my business.
That's awesome. So then what is one piece of advice that you would give to our listeners on how they can empower their own growth and success?
So I would tell them, embrace those imperfect moments, right? Life is, not perfect. And just really just take time to focus on yourself, really, focus on the whole personal development and getting in touch with who you are, at your core, your true authentic self, and really, taking time for that. I always say work more on yourself. If it's than anything else you got going on in your life, work more personally on yourself and becoming a better person. And, the person that you want to be, 3 to 5 years from now, like be that person today, like show up and be that person. So I think that definitely helps, empower one on the growth. Like see yourself in the future. Don't be so caught up on the right now and what it looks like.
Absolutely. That's just amazing because, growth and success is so important. But as you mentioned, we have to take that time to focus on our own personal development and our own growth journey and, figuring out where we are, where we're at and then where we're trying to go. And so it goes back to that clarity, that we truly need to have. And, I'm so thankful, to have you on the show to share those tips with the listeners on how they can grow because, like I said, we are truly all on a growth journey. We may be at different stages, but we're definitely all on, a growth journey, and that personal development time is extremely important. So please share with the listeners what is actually coming up on the horizon for you.
So for me, it's more so getting offline and doing, getting out there in my community. So like I mentioned earlier, my girls, I have 4 girls. So my oldest is 23, and then my youngest are 15 and 14. So in the earlier part of my business, it was all about, being able to build this business online because during the day, I was busy running around with them, Girl Scouts and all these different activities. So now I'm ready to, I moved to Atlanta because it's an opportunity to be able to connect with people and things of that sort. But I realized I hadn't been doing that. So lately I've been with my oldest daughter. She kind of gets it from her mom. We've hosted our first brunch and breakthrough event. So we're doing those on a regular basis. So we're looking to do those monthly. Right now it's scheduled for quarterly. So we have the brunch and breakthrough event where it focuses on, business, but also your life, just those different, we're helping you just move forward and put the pieces of your life together. And then I also run a Unleashed Mastermind group. So those are kind of like my, two things that I'm focusing on. And then I'm, traveling and have a couple of events lined up, 2 more events lined up throughout the year where I'll be, speaking in Florida and here locally in Atlanta.
Question about your Unleashed Mastermind group. Is the group virtually or do you have it actually on site somewhere there in Georgia?
Yes, so actually it's virtually. So this is an online mastermind group. And it started as a 90-day mastermind group, and then they have the option to continue moving forward. But it really just focuses on helping, that woman hit 1 to 3 goals. Because I always say, in 90 days, there's only so little you can do in 90 days. So realistically setting 1 to 3 goals that you can be able to accomplish, and that's kind of like what it focuses on.
Awesome. And if you could just take some time to, share with the listeners how they can stay connected with you and support your efforts.
Absolutely. So you can definitely find me over at LaKeishaHankins.com. And of course, you can spell LaKeisha so many ways. So the easiest way to remember it is LaKeisha. And so it's LaKeishaHankins.com. And, of course, I'm on all social media platforms as far as Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can find me at LaKeisha Hankins. I'm active on, like I said, on social media.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, for taking the time to, share your amazing story and journey. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you as a guest on the show today. So I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much for allowing me in your space. This has been exciting.
No problem. And I do want to say that I wish you, much success and blessings as you continue on your journey.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So listeners, thank you for tuning in tonight's show with our special guest, LaKeisha Hankins. LaKeisha shared her amazing journey and some awesome insights. She told us that we need to take time to focus on personal development and your true authentic self, and always remember that we all have a past, but our past doesn't define our future. It simply prepares us. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, starting your own radio show, or low-cost advertising highlighting your book, business, or events, please email envisionedb@empoweronpurpose.com. Please tune in next week where you will hear an amazing story and journey from another leader, influencer, and motivator. Until next time, be blessed.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Hour with Jaresha, where Jaresha speaks with leaders, influencers, and motivators who share their journeys in personal and professional growth, empowerment tips, lessons learned, and keys of success that will empower you to be your best self. Follow Jaresha on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jaresha Moore, and visit EmpowerOnPurpose.com. And remember to be intentional and be empowered, and have a great day on purpose.